Hey everybody, it's Tabetha here with another Wednesday art snack. Wednesday art snack. I don't know. Anyway, uh, I've got I've got some information for you. Um, so as you may or may not know, in my Paint Through It network, in our Paint Through It network, what I've been doing every month is giving you a topic to focus on. So we did color, line, shape, form. We were working our way through the elements of art. We haven't quite finished them. There's a few more to go. I took a break to do the creative process, to talk about the creative process. And at the first of every month, I announce the topic and I do a little blog post on it. But in February, I didn't. And that is because the topic, I wasn't sure how I wanted to approach it actually. But the topic is finding your voice in your art. So I've had people come to me and say, hey, I've been painting for years and I can, you know, copy people. I've been copying people and I've been copying you and I've been taking your classes and just painting the same thing you're painting and the way you're painting it. And I want to do my own work. I want it to come from within me. So I want to help you with that. I want to help you with that. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to switch my screen. So my face is not all over this screen. I'm just going to do some art and ramble a little bit on this topic. So this this month, February, at this recording, I've talked about on these art snacks, I should say, painting set up for multi-use spaces, and that feeds right into finding your voice as an artist because you really it's really hard to create from your heart, from your soul, even from your mind, if you are really worried about your setup and your dining room table and spilling your paint water and things like that. You really have to get centered and not be stressed out, unless that's what your art is about, you know. But I find it helps to get centered to create my own work. Um, And by the way, this is the February topic, but this is not a 1 month long topic. This is going to be ongoing for a long time because there's so much to it. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about taking risks and making ugly art because that is definitely something you have to do if you're going to create your own work. You have to take those risks. It's very important. And the ugly art will happen. So if you've been missing those posts, they're in my Paint Through It network, and they're under the topics section. So go back and find those and revisit them or visit them for the first time. It's good advice. And then last week I talked about frustration and how that can be a part of the process. So don't get discouraged. So now I want to talk about rules. And I'm here to tell you, rules don't exist. This is art. This is art. Forget about rules. Don't let anybody tell you there's rules. There are all kinds of artists who will say that there are rules, but there's not. They can name a rule, but what's going to happen if you break it? You can get in trouble. You can get arrested. No, 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 no. Forget that. Forget the rules. Do your own thing. It's good to know some rules, some of those things they call rules, because it can be very helpful to you. And when I like to say there's not rules, but there are results. So for instance, there are ways to get a good composition. There are certain elements that you put in there to make it a good composition, visually pleasing elements. Does that mean it's going to be a bad composition without those? Maybe, maybe not. Does that mean just because you have them, it's going to be amazing artwork? Definitely not. So, I'm just going to suggest you experiment with things. That's the first rule. You got to get out there. First rule. Did you hear me say that? Dang it. My first bit of advice. How's that? Get out there and experiment. So I was watching a YouTube video recently of this woman talking about oil pastels, which is what I'm working with right now, and how to use them and how not to use them. And here's the right way to use them, and here's the wrong way. Honestly, I was kind of yelling at my screen because, yeah, you can use them the way she said if you want to get the results that she got. But you might not want those results. You might want different results. And if somebody's telling you that you have to lay your oil pastels on thick and don't smudge them with your finger, but your soul says to lay them on lightly and definitely smudge them with your finger, go for it. Now, generally speaking, I'm going to give you a disclaimer here. I'm mainly talking about acrylic paints, watercolors, even oil pastels. There are things that when it comes to oil paints that I don't necessarily call them rules, but there's kind of protocols that it's good to observe because there's some chemical stuff that happens with oils and mediums and things like that. We're not getting into that right now. Right now, we're just talking about finding your creative voice and breaking the rules. If you hear about a rule, break it. How else are you going to learn? How else are you going to find that voice if you're following everybody else's voices? By the way, I have no plan for what I'm doing. I'm just doodling. Doodling with oil pastels, excuse me, on top of an acrylic canvas. So don't let anybody tell you about the rules. And you can listen to rules. If somebody says there's rules, you can listen to them and decide if they're good rules that you like, that make sense. There are some things that do make sense. But if it doesn't serve you, throw it away. Give it a try. Throw it away if it doesn't work. It is really hard to do art and think and talk all at the same time. I am really lousy at that. I'm sorry. That's it. So I say no rules, but there are results. And just because you try something, breaking a rule, you try it, doesn't mean you're going to like what you got. Doesn't mean it's going to work for your painting. But try it anyway. Just don't try it with a painting that you are in love with. Unless you really want to shake things up and take a risk. But yeah, there's just results. No rules, just results. Some results you like, some results you don't. And that's okay, because what did I say a couple weeks ago? You're going to paint stuff you don't like. You're going to paint ugly art. And it's awesome. And nothing is ever wasted, especially with acrylic paints, because you can just do another layer over it. If I don't like what I'm doing here, I can paint right over it. The only thing you chemically, I think, can't do is to paint acrylic over oil paint. I think it won't adhere. I've never really tried it, but that's what I've heard about. That's what they tell me. So that's my quick and easy tip to get you a little bit further on the road towards creating your own art from your heart, soul, mind, imagination, something completely original, is just to forget about any freaking rules. Just have fun and experiment with stuff. All right. That's all I got for now. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. If you're a rules person and that makes you nervous, I want to hear about that. That's okay too. You can follow the rules, the quote unquote rules if you want. But I think that's a little boring. Let's play it not so safe. Strike out a bit. And when you come to my classes, I always tell you, usually 9 times out of 10, I tell you, do what you want to do. Follow me as much as you want, as close as you want, and strike out on your own and do your own thing. Otherwise. And the 1 time out of 10 is when I'm doing something really incredibly specific that I think it's a good idea to do it exactly as I'm doing it. But generally speaking, just because I do something one way doesn't mean you don't have a better way of doing it or can't find a better way. No rules. No rules, my artist peeps. That's it. Have fun and let me know what you're thinking about the rules. I want to hear it. All right. Bye.